Perhaps today of all days, you'll be renewed with so much joy. Perhaps you look at things with such delight. Perhaps today of all days, you choose to be wise, that you are able to get the sense of peace in so many different ways. You feel how to live again and not stay in vain. You start looking at the glass half full. View life in a positive light. As you know, we can't pour from an empty glass. You realize that the peace you were searching for, the inner peace from within, is there longer than you know. You were sad, perhaps standing in the lack of faith. You have been a fool, expecting a sign, when the answers were long been laid. Perhaps you are one of those people who have been taken out with a sense of yourself. If you speak up, they will try to shame you in silence. Perhaps that kind of mental flashback steer a sense of agony, at the very least, a feeling of self-betrayal. But from that point forward, with renewed strength in your heart, you start saying, it's okay to not agree with one's view. It's okay to not chase to be understood, to be heard, and with boundaries, it's totally okay to flow. You learn to not insist on expressing your opinions. Because sometimes, what was right and what was easy were two different things. Perhaps you feel safe when you decide to hide your true feelings. But knowing your feelings are real, they are your responsibility and no one else. To recognize what you feel is freeing. At the same time, being aware of how you allow your feelings to affect others. To know who you are not, and who you never want to be again. Perhaps you were told that you need to do more, that you need to achieve more, but your body is suffering. Your body is telling you that rest is needed. You work so hard to build for yourself. With all this pain, you became a rock. When you learn that sometimes our greatest lesson lies in our greatest pain. Which became your long-standing sort of anchor to face the future. Perhaps they tell you you'd be prettier if you wear a certain kind of clothes, a certain kind of makeup. But don't waste years of your life trying to fit someone else's idea of beauty. To never lose sight of yourself, all of yourselves, because you are so much more than just physical. Always see you, all of you, inside and out, and every single part of you. Perhaps you've grown used to pleasing others. You say yes so quickly when you'd rather say no. You agree soon enough when what you really believe is the opposite. Perhaps sometimes you think that you are a failure even before you start. But you learn to just start, to take a chance, knowing you'll never get anywhere unless you start somewhere. Perhaps sometimes you have the motivation, but it's not enough. Perhaps some days were harder than the others. Perhaps you spend a lot of time building yourself back up again. Perhaps change may never be simpler and easy to predict. And the uncertainty of what's going to happen next fills you with fear, not knowing what the future holds. But you learn to just enjoy the moments as they came and all the reasons why you didn't fight what happened to you, but instead drifted with it. Allowing life to carry you from one experience to the next, to accept life as it really was, rather than trying to force it to be what you wanted. And the more you loved and learned and studied, the humbler you were. And if you believe in anything, you believe in life and embrace it with a gentle touch. And if you ever find yourself in the wrong story, when your head knows good and well that the story doesn't define you, you know you are allowed to live any story you don't find yourself in. Perhaps you have come such a long way to realize a chore is not a chore, it becomes a labor of love. Perhaps you never ever felt truly settled. You have worked for years overcoming the constant pain of the day-to-day. The times you have struggled, yet you always manage to pull through. Perhaps things always confuse you, but you believe in where you are headed. And you chose to see the bigger picture. Circumstances and setbacks let you see things for yourself, eventually confirming your understanding of how things work out for you, offering hope. And out of that, one thing you know for sure is that your peace is never something for anybody to take. You felt more determined than ever to go forward with your gut decision. Right now, you would have never thought, if only you took time realizing it. Still, a part of you doesn't want to believe it. And now as you put your voice on letters, you wanted to say, you were grateful beyond telling.